In all our waking, dreaming and sleeping states of consciousness, what we live is a relative reality. So we know from our own life what the relative realities are. All the experience, all the life, all the waves of happiness that one lives during dreaming or waking, and all the restfulness that one lives in the sleep, all this is the relative realities. So we have been living relative realities since birth. So relativity is directly known to us. And now, ever since we started to meditate, started to transcend, getting to that transcendent, unbounded awareness, pure consciousness, we know that the absolute, unbounded, pure awareness, pure consciousness is also our direct experience. So, relative life is our direct experience. The absolute transcendental reality is our direct experience. We know what the reality of life is. Ultimate reality, transcendental pure consciousness. Relative realities, all that the life is during waking, dreaming and sleeping. Waking, dreaming, sleeping states of consciousness we are living. And ever since we started to meditate, we have quite a good taste of transcendental pure consciousness, the fourth state of consciousness, which is absolute in its nature. This is the ultimate reality. Through meditation, we know this is the innermost aspect of our life. Pure awareness is the innermost region of our existence. So that extremity of life, the ultimate reality, and this extremity of life in the waking and dreaming and sleeping. Two extremities of life. And to both extremities, our awareness is open to the gross relative realities. We are open in waking and dreaming and sleep states. Different realities, different structure of life, different values of existence in different states of consciousness. And therefore, by direct experience we know fourth state of consciousness, innermost region of our personality. That we know by direct experience. This we know by direct experience. Both the extremities, both sides of the coin of life we are aware. And when we are aware that the coin is intact on both sides, it can be used in the market. If one side is not very good, it may be suspicious. But when both sides are intact, this and this and this and this, life is intact, and then it can be marketed. Every coin can be expounded for its value, this much and this much and this much and this much. Life is expounded for its values. And the values of life, the realities of life, are both relative and absolute. So we market 200% value of life. And that is our marketing value of life. 200% value. And if we find the market is a little dull or something like that, we come out with a more emphatic price. It has to be 200%. Less than 200%, no good. That is our value of life. That is our evaluation about life. That is our evaluation about ourselves and about everyone, everywhere in the world. Deep within everyone is deep within himself. Everyone is infinite, unbounded, eternal, unmanifest, pure, bliss consciousness. Outside, everyone is expressing the wave of that unbounded bliss like an ocean, silent ocean of life, and advancing, rising waves of life. Relativity is just the advancing, rising wave of eternal life. And deep within, life is eternal. Like deep within, the ocean is silent and deep. On the surface, it's moving, advancing, rising. And as the waves rise high, they advance faster and easier. And strong waves cannot be obstructed even by the wind from the opposite side. And that should be the wave of the relative life of everyone. Advancement, progress towards fulfillment. Every wave in the ocean has an aspiration to rise high and dash against the hill and clear the way for all times. Every individual has that aspiration of living that unboundedness of life. All the search for more and more, which is natural to everyone, the search for more in life is the very instinct of life. The very nature of life is to move towards more and more and more and more. This is because more than the most is the source of the flow of life. Deep within, in the field of being, the life is infinite. And from that infinite source, the relative value, the waves of living arise. And they rise to rise high and advance. Every wave has the aspiration of incorporating the whole value of the ocean. And every wave has a chance of incorporating the whole depth of the ocean. It is only necessary to keep on incorporating more and more from within as one is rising higher and higher. The activity of rising high must be supported by activity of amassing more from the base. And then the whole ocean would be ready to sign up for one single wave. That is the power of one single wave. The ocean is ready to cooperate with fullness and full support. And each single wave is able to have the whole strength of the ocean. And then it is a wave and an ocean in a wave. This is the structure of individual life. The possibility is enormous, unbounded. No boundaries for the great possibilities for every human being, because the life itself is such. The structure of a wave is such that it can incorporate the whole of the ocean within it. The structure of human life is such. Every single individual human life is embedded in the eternity. The eternity can be lively in every single individual human existence. And the technique is TM. Life is relative and absolute both together. Not that I am only absolute unbounded. I am absolute unbounded like the silent deep of the ocean, silent depth of the ocean, and I am relative as the floating waves of the ocean, moving, advancing, rising waves of the ocean. So, moving, advancing, rising, evolving towards fulfillment is the nature of our relative life. And the nature of the absolute deep within the relative is unchanging, unbounded, eternal being. So this within and this without, both together constitute life. Reality of life means both together. No coin can have only one side and be valid in the market. Has to have two sides. If life has to be lived, if life has to be in the field of living, it has to be in the field of relative. And in order to be, it must have to be in being. It's very simple. Relativity to be. Being has to be. So being is within life and living is on the surface of being. When I say being is deep within living and living is on the surface of being, now this statement should be verified, how far it is true and where it falls short of truth. Sap is deep within the flower, and the flower is on the surface of the sap. It's very obvious. Colorless sap is what the flower is made of. But we don't see the colorless sap. What we see is beautiful pink. Pink on the surface is seen. What is not seen is the colorless sap. And therefore, obviously, we say sap must be within it. We say sap is within it. The colorless is the basis of the color. On the surface is the color. At the depth is the colorless. This is one statement, and obviously it is reasonable because from our direct perception we know that the colorless is not seen on the surface. It is the pink that is seen on the surface. But because the pink wouldn't be without the sap, and therefore we say the sap is within it. But when we analyze closely every fiber of the pink, what we find is it is colorless sap. Every fiber of the petal is sap. Inside, outside, even on the surface it is sap. At the depth it must be, but even on the surface it is sap. Close analysis of the situation gives us a very clear picture that the sap is not only deep within the petal, but it is on the surface of the petal also. But as long as our vision is not trained to comprehend the colorless on the pink color petal, so long we see not the colorless sap, we see only the petal. It's a matter of our ability of perception. When the ability of perception could grow, the sap could be comprehended on the surface of the petal. The colorless could be comprehended on the surface of the pink. And then we will have the pink and the colorless both together, even on the surface, even at the depth. And this will be the reality of vision. This will be the reality of the petal. And this will be the reality of our comprehension, of our vision. But the reality of the petal will always be colorless sap and the pink, petal and the sap on the surface and the depth. This is the reality of the petal. But it depends on how much we are able to perceive, whether our vision is dominated by the pink or our vision is dominated by the colorless. It will depend, the valuation of this situation, that the petal is colorless and pink both at the same time. The reality of this situation will depend upon how much we are able to comprehend, how much refined is our vision, whether our vision is dominated by the pink or it can be dominated by the colorless. If we can comprehend the colorless and the pink, we enjoy 200% value of the flower, the inner reality and the surface value both together. This is true in every case our vision falls on. Whatever we comprehend, whatever we envision, whatever we see, whether we only comprehend the surface value of the objects or that which is deep within the object at one time and comes on the surface to be appreciated. What is deep within the object? That which is present everywhere, like the sap present everywhere. This green also is the manifestation of the colorless. This hard stem green is also the manifestation of the colorless sap. This tender petal pink also is the expression of the colorless sap. So the same colorless sap present everywhere expresses itself differently and becomes so many different qualities. Like that, pure being, pure life, unmanifest life, which is abstract, non-concrete, that expresses itself into so many varieties, and the world of multiplicity crops up. But as in every of these cases, green or pink or whatever, hard or soft or whatever, in all these different qualities, the colorless sap is dominating. It is in and out. So also, in every manifest life in creation, all this diversity, multiplicity, variety, one unmanifest pure being, pure existence, pure intelligence, pure consciousness is omnipresent, present in and out. That unmanifest pure consciousness is bliss consciousness. Its nature is bliss. So, the reality of the variety of existence, the reality of all relative existence is pure happiness, unboundedness of life, eternity, pure awareness, transcendental consciousness, that which we experience many times in the morning and many times in the evening within 20 minutes. Within 20 minutes of our meditation, we have been diving into that pool of life, into that content of life, that reality which has expressed itself into all this variety of the creation. So by our experience, we know the reality to be absolute, non-changing, and that we know to be our inner reality, and by experience we know the manifest aspect of that into the ways of relative existences. And that is the whole story of life with which we are familiar.